Hi everyone, my name's Jordan and welcome back to my channel. I'm gonna preface this video by saying, I know I have a huge cold sore. Today's my only day to film. Pretend it's not there, please. Today I'm doing my most anticipated releases of 2023. These are all the books I have pre-ordered so far. I pre-order quite a lot of books throughout the year, so I'm sure this list will grow as the year goes on, but as of now, these are all my pre-orders of 2023. So these are in no particular order. I believe they're just in order of release date, so they're not in like my most excited for books. These are just all the books I've pre-ordered. So without further ado, let's get into it. First up, I have Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo, the first one being Ninth House. Obviously, I don't have any of the books on this list, so if they are a continuation of a series I own, that's the book I'm going to show. But Hellbent is the second book in this series. I just reread Ninth House last week in preparation for Hellbent, and man, was it good. It was better than the first time I read it. I read it right when it came out, and that's the last time I read it, and I really liked it this time around. I mean, I really liked it the first time I read it, but the first time I read it, I gave it 4 stars, and this time I gave it 5. This is a story about magical secret societies at Yale that basically like control the world. It's like the Illuminati, but magical and all at Yale. So it's kind of paranormal. There's like ghosts and things, and there are different realms. There's like the afterlife, and these secret societies do these rituals that can influence people or can change the course of the world. There are a lot of costs to doing this magic, and they only bring in so many people a year. And this woman can see these ghosts without any sort of help, without any sort of like potion or whatever that everyone else needs. And so she is brought in to be a part of this society. However, she comes from a very different background than everyone else. Mostly everyone else is like the stereotypical Yale student. They come from a wealthy family and what have you. But she is from the streets, basically. She was literally taken out of a hospital after a tragic event that involved drugs and stuff, and she is just trying to survive while everyone else is trying to thrive. And it is a stunning story. I loved it so much this time around. I highly recommend it, and I'm very excited for Hellbent. It comes out January 10th, so it will be something I read probably right away in January. Next up, I have The Tyranny of Faith by Richard Swan, the first one being The Justice of Kings. This book came out at the beginning of 2022, and I absolutely loved it. I had an arc for it, read it, loved it, and pre-ordered it. This book follows a world where there are these justices that go town to town and deal out punishment, and they have specific magical powers that they can use to aid them with that. And there's this one justice and his 2 helpers who are kind of like very far out away from like the capital. They're kind of out in towards the wilderness, and they're helping these small towns. They're going town to town and helping as they go. And they start to see these signs of unrest, and they hear some rumors about some things going on in the capital, but they decide to finish up what they're doing in this town they're in. There's like a murder mystery going on, and they're trying to figure out what happened. And it's so complex, the characters are so fun, and I just really think that this next one's going to be great. The cover is stunning, just like the cover of the first one, and I am so excited to continue this series. I was really surprised by how much I liked the first one. And this comes out February 14th. That is 10 days after my birthday, and that is Valentine's Day, so fun birthday present for me. Next up, I have The 11th Hour by the McElroy brothers and their dad, and the first one is Here There Be Gerblins. This is a D&D graphic novel series based on one of my favorite podcasts of all time. These brothers are the brothers that do My Brother and Me. If you listen to podcasts, you might have heard of it, but The Adventure Zone is one of their other podcasts, and their first campaign they play is called Balance, and they are all each arc of this campaign are being adapted into graphic novels. So the first 4 are out. 11th Hour is the 5th. I am very excited. The 11th Hour is kind of where things start going off the rails a little bit. It's where a lot of the more serious stakes start to come in. It is one of my favorite arcs of the entire campaign, and I am very, very excited to get to it. This graphic novel series is great. If you haven't listened to The Adventure Zone, I highly, highly recommend it. If you are not into podcasts but still are curious, these graphic novel adaptations are phenomenal. They are illustrated by Carrie Peach. She's great. I will say you may not get as much of the humor without listening to it, because a lot of the humor is based off of the camaraderie between the brothers and their dad, and so if you don't listen to it you may miss out on some of it, but the story itself is still great. It starts out very silly and kind of like just a silly story about some boys doing dungeon crawls and stuff. But I promise by the end you will cry. I bawled my eyes out every time I've listened to Balance. This story is one of my favorite in fantasy in any media, so I highly, highly recommend you listen to The Adventure Zone Balance. Oh, and that comes out February 21st. Next up, I have The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi by S.A. Chakraborty. This comes out March 7th. This is a new start of I think it's a series by S.A. Chakraborty, who wrote the Davabad trilogy, which is, the first one is The City of Brass. Loved The City of Brass. I loved that entire trilogy. I thought it was really great. It was one of my first forays into adult fantasy, and I think that it definitely was a good bridge for me, because it does have a few kind of tropes that YA fantasy has, but I think that it's definitely still adult fantasy. There's a lot of adult themes, but I think it was a perfect bridge for me, and I really loved it, and I'm very excited for S.A. Chakraborty's next foray into adult fantasy. This is a magical pirate story, and I love a good nautical fantasy. I know that I'm not as up to date on booktube drama, but I know that there's been some booktube drama about nautical fantasy and whether it's good or not. But I really like nautical fantasy, so I'm really excited for The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi. This is about, I believe she's an older woman who has led this life as a pirate, and she's been super successful, and she's about to retire when she is offered one last big job, and she decides to take it, and I believe it's a missing person kind of thing, and I'm just really excited. I already know I love S.A. Chakraborty's writing style, so I'm really, really excited for this one. It also has a stunning cover. Next up, I have The Faithless by C.L. Clarke, and this comes out March 14th. And can we just appreciate this cover really quick, because stunning. This is the second book after The Unbroken, which came out, I believe, last year, 2021. And I really liked it. It is about this woman who is kind of taken by these people that are colonizing her world when she's a kid. And she's raised in this other society, and she becomes a soldier for them. She is sent back to her homeland to quell a rebellion or something, and so she kind of has to decide what side she's on, and it's really great. There's a great sapphic romance in there, and I really enjoyed it, so I'm very excited for The Faithless. I think it's an incredible cover as well. A lot of these on this list are great covers. Fantasy covers are just getting top notch. Just won't talk about Fractal Noise, all the drama surrounding that, but anyway, hire artists to do your fantasy covers, because this is what you get. They're great, so I'm very excited for this one. Next up, I have Untethered Sky by Fonda Lee. This comes out April 18th. Fonda Lee wrote the Greenbone Saga, which is one of my favorite series of all time. It is a stunning, stunning series that is kind of like a mob fantasy, urban fantasy, but not... It's great. I highly recommend it. But this is a new series, new book. I'm not sure if it's a series, not in the Greenbone world. This is a story, from what I can tell, that's just kind of like a revenge story. This Manticore kills this girl's family, and she has to go hunt the Manticore down, which is, a Manticore is a fantasy creature. I don't really even care what it's about, because it's Fonda Lee, so I will like it. I'm guaranteed to like it, because Fonda Lee is an incredible author. So I'm very excited to read this. The beginning of my year is shaping out to be incredible. Next up, I have The Archive Undying by Emma Mieko Candon. This comes out July 4th, and this is a mech story with the mechs as gods, and it's that kind of sci-fi with the godly mechs. I've tried one mech story. I'm not very familiar with mechs, and that was The Genesis of Misery, and actually was really disappointed with it, but not because of the mechs. I think that the writing just wasn't great. So giving mechs another shot. I have a really close friend who absolutely loves everything mechs. He has like every Gundam ever created, but I'm just not familiar with them. So really hoping I like this one and super excited to read it. I don't know a whole lot about it besides the fact that they're mech gods. This cover is also stunning and super excited to get this book. Next up, I have Electo the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. No surprise this is on my list. I do not have a release date for this one yet, and it's probably my most anticipated read of 2023 if it's coming out in 2023. I believe it is. This is the fourth and final book in the Locked Tomb trilogy. I have an entire video of why you should read the Locked Tomb. I will link above and down below. Just go read it. Like, just go read Gideon the Ninth, and then read Harrow the Ninth, and tell me all about it. Anyway, Electo the Ninth is the fourth and final book. I can, with confidence, say I have no idea what this book is going to be about because I haven't known what every single book coming up is going to be. And I am loving it. I'm so excited. And I'm also incredibly nervous because it being the final book, like, there's so many unanswered questions, and I'm so nervous on how this is going to end. I'm sure I'll love it either way, but I'm just really nervous. I really, really, really want certain things to happen that I don't know if they will or not. So here we are. And last but not least, I'm kind of grouping these all together. I am going to be getting all 4 of Brandon Sanderson's secret projects. I'm getting the hardcover editions, and I'm very excited for them. The first one comes out in January, and then they come out every 3 months after that, and I'm pumped. I've never had a special edition book ever. Like, ever. I don't think I've ever owned a special edition. So these will be my first, and I'm excited. They're all Cosmere. They're all top secret. I know nothing about them. I know that there has been like some synopsises, I believe, and there's like some cover releases and things like that. But honestly, I've been avoiding all news about it ever since they were announced and ever since I backed the Kickstarter because I want to go into these blind. I want to know nothing about them. So I have avoided all news. I'm very excited for them. I think they're going to be a lot of fun. I love the Cosmere, and especially after just finishing the Lost Metal recently, I think that these are just going to be a blast. So very excited for all 4 of those. And that is all of the books I am most excited for in 2023. I have all of these pre-ordered. They are all top of my list for anticipated reads. I am so excited for 2023. This list is just phenomenal. These are all great books, and I am very, very excited for 2023. I already have 2 other videos out for plans for 2023. One is series I want to start, and the other is 12 books that were recommended to me by 12 booktubers. I will link both of those videos down below, just if you are curious on my other plans for 2023. Between those 3 videos, I believe that's the only 3 videos I'm going to do for my plans for 2023. So between those 3 videos, you'll kind of get an idea of my plans for 2023. I think there's still a little room for all my mood reads and for continuing other things that aren't on these lists, but these are my priorities. This list and those other 2 videos, those are my priorities for 2023. So I'm very excited. I think it's going to be a great year, and it's the most planning I've ever done for reading ever because I started my booktube this year, and so I started it in April, I believe, March or April. So like, I didn't plan 2022 very much, but 2023, I've basically got like at least the first 6 months, I basically have planned TBRs. So I'm excited. I'm also a little nervous because it feels like a lot of pressure, but I'm just not going to allow myself to feel a lot of that pressure. I'm just going to read what I enjoy, and I think I'm going to enjoy all of my plans. So that's good. Thank you guys for watching. If you could please like, comment, and subscribe, let me know down below what are some of your most anticipated releases of 2023, and let me know if you think I will like some of them because I'm always down to add more to my list. If you really like my content, please hit the notification bell to be notified every time I post new videos. As always, your support means the world to me, and until next time, thank you guys.